HRN VTL, honest and reliable news, voice of the Black Laurelians. I'm Renato Ingenimenzo, and this is Concept Paper Report on Laurel TV. Good morning, Laurelians. It is now Friday, June 9, 2023, and this is the headlines.
Headlines: Seeking for my place. The challenges of students with disability in dealing with their studies. Rationale: global, national, and local settings. Research gap. Purpose of the study. Methodology. Significance of the study and expected result.
3 of grade 12 GAS students conducted a study about the challenges of students with disabilities. Aloros Pulinho, ibalita mo.
Yes, Mr. Ray, 3 of grade 12 GAS students conducting a study entitled Seeking for My Place. The challenges of students with disability in dealing with their studies. They have spent countless hours researching, discussing, and collaborating to develop a comprehensive understanding of their study.
Thank you, Ms. Pulinho. Let us now hear the contents of Rationale Global Settings. Ms. GM Pilocho, ibalita mo.
Yes, Mr. Ray. In Babag National High School, there are incidents of being bullied, feelings of failure, lack of acceptance, negative attitudes of people towards person with disability. In that case, person with disability or PWD felt that they are not belong and they are scared to go to school because of bullying. The concept of special needs is a condition that may interpose with the normal way an individual behaves or carries out activities for daily living, like bullying. Every people experience bullying, especially to the person with disability or PWD. The challenges of students, those have sensory impairments, visual, hearing, intellectual, and physical impairments. The specific learning difficulties, individuals who are slow in learning, cannot spell words, have communication and speech difficulties. In South Africa, Matuana 2014 stated that students with disabilities are often discriminated in their personal and social lives, which are mirrored in their academic involvement. Many students with physical disabilities experience frustration. From Europe, Boyle 2015 stated that education allows children with and without disabilities to attend the same age-appropriate classes at their school. Additional, individually tailored support if needed. However, large equity gaps in education access and outcomes still exist between groups of children because some marginalized groups of children experience shockingly low rates of access and learning. In addition, stated that, however, children with disabilities are still face a lot of challenges in realizing their right education, and they are one of the most marginalized and excluded groups in education. The Croatian laws clearly indicate that disabled children have the rights to inclusive education and that schools have provided conditions which lead to successful education of children. In Nigeria, Osumado 2013, as cited by Bolo et al. 2017, stated that students with special needs are subject to different challenges due to their disability. Some of these students may have complex individual needs. Such challenges may derive from school climate or interaction with people.
Thank you, Ms. Pirocho. Let's now move to the Rationale National Settings. According to Binaobra 2011, for a long time, Filipinos with disabilities have suffered from discrimination. Their economic, social, and political rights have not been recognized, and their access to educational opportunities and government services has been limited. Dironia 2017 stated that the real struggle of persons with disability will start when they step out of their house. Although we are in modern society, when it comes to accommodating PWDs, especially in infrastructure, they still need improvement. According to Janito et al. 2021, persons with disabilities or PWDs are one of the concerns in society. But social exclusions and biases put PWDs in a disadvantaged position. There has always been an issue in employment, social roles, and accessibility to education. These issues are eventually turning into a self-doubt and feeling of inferiority, which are responsible evidence suggesting that persons with disabilities receive negative attitude from non-PWD individuals. Let us now hear the contents of Rationale Local Settings. Miss Blinyo, ibalita mo.
Malaybalay City, Bukidnon Province of Mindanao, Juber 2022.
There is a girl that graduated in high school with her with disability and wanted to proceed to college and take a degree in hotel and restaurant management or information technology. However, more than a decade after finishing his secondary education, she is still out of school. Local university have no capability to enroll person with the kind of disability. One of the challenges of students with disability in pursuing their studies are the schools that does not accommodate with disabilities
Because the school thinks that the PWD is the one of the headrest of the flow of learning.
Let's now move to the research gap. Miss Pirocho, ibalita mo.
Based on the observation stated, it is important to study the experience and stories of students with disability to have the access the same rights and opportunities as everybody, and the study conducted by the different authors about this topic. Back to you, Rain.
Let's now move to the purpose of the study. Miss Pulinyo, ibalita mo.
Yes, Mr. Rain. The purpose of the study is to know the challenges of students with disability, to know the coping mechanism of students with disabilities in overcoming the challenges they faced.
Let's now move to the methodology. Miss Pirocho, ibalita mo.
Let's now move to the first content of methodology, research design. This qualitative will employ a descriptive research design. According to MacCombs 2019, descriptive research aims to accurately and systematically describe a population, situation, or phenomenon. It can answer what, where, when, and how questions, but not why questions. Moreover, a descriptive research design can use a wide variety of research methods to investigate one or more variables. Descriptive research is an appropriate choice when a research aims to identify characteristics, frequencies, trends, and categories. Qualitative research as an iterative process in which improved understanding to the scientific community is achieved by making new significant distinction resulting from getting closer to the phenomenon studied. This formulation is developed as a tool to help improve research designs.
And now, let's move to the data collection. Miss Pulinyo, ibalita mo.
Let us now move to the second content of methodology, data collection.
The study will follow concentrated data techniques. Data collection is an important tool for understanding behavior and motivation of audience. Good data also make it easier to identify ways to improve the experience they have with organization. The researcher will ask permission to research participants through a formal letter. After they agree to all conditions, participants signing the consent to all part this research. They will give the knowledge needed in the study. The researcher used an audio recording to the flow of the interview with participants. The researcher gathers of the participants and sincerely appreciated the participation. And the conversation will be recorded with the approval of the participants. The collected data during the discussion will be transcribed carefully. The participation will be coded as anonymous person assured their privacy. When the transcription will be finalized, the researcher will meet the participants and will allow to confirm their responses.
Let's now move to data analysis. The data will organizing and interpreting by the researcher through an orderly procedure by reading the interviews and playing the conversation repeatedly so that will come up the reliable result. The procedure that will be used to recognize the data collected from the participants and the responses of these interviews that will be conducted. Then the researcher will analyze all the collected data. It is important to interpret and understand their comprehension that they experience. Let us now move to participants. Ms. Derocho, ibalita mo.
We are now in the fourth content of the methodology, the participants. In this study, the researcher will take the role of interview and in-depth interview and focus group discussion. The identified participants of the study will be 13 students and the 6 students in in-depth interview and 7 students in focus group discussion, sharing their thoughts, experiences, and challenges of students with disability in dealing with their studies.
Let us now move to ethical consideration. Ms. Polino, ibalita mo.
The last content of methodology, ethical consideration. In view to the fact that in the study, data gathered will be treated in most confidentially in order to safeguard personal details and identify of the participants involved in the study and who ensure reliability of the research. Finally, all the responses will remain confidential. All the statements of quoted will be coded to maintain the security of the informants.
Let us now move to significance of the study. The researcher believes that this study will not only get data, but this study will help the researcher also and the students with disability and to all students. Study aims to give courage to face all the challenges. For students, this study will give word to the disabled students and for students without disability that they must support and respect, not bully the disabled students. For school, this study is important to school to prevent bullying and discrimination and give respect for all, not only to the disabled students. PWD awareness is important in the school, enable to educate students in order to become better citizens. For community, it helps the community to avoid bullying and discrimination. They must be aware what are the challenges of students with disability so they can help them to respect. It increased community participation can lead to improve the health.
Expected result of this research is anticipated to shed light on the challenges faced by students with disability in dealing with their studies. The findings may inform educational policy makers, administrator, teachers, and support personnel to develop targeted interventions, accommodations, and strategies to enhance academic success and social inclusion of students with disability in mainstream educational setting.
And I am Jonami Perocho. And I am Auros Polino.
And that is the headlines for today. Again, I'm Renato Menzo, and this is Concept Paper Report on Laurel TV.